Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Kane is warned by Phyllis to man up and march. According to The Young and the Restless spoilers for August 27th, Nick Newman will have an affair crisis, and Nate Hastings will have second thoughts. Let's talk about the upcoming drama in Genoa City, because Lily Winters will also discover that she is unable to shake Kane Ashby and all of the memories they shared. Nate will consider everything and worry that he made a mistake now that Audra Charles has dumped him instead of coming clean. As Nate reflects on his relationship with Audra and how it ended, he'll make an admission to Devin Winters. Nate cannot be certain that Audra is telling the truth about what transpired with Kyle Abbott. Nate might be tempted to apologize to Audra and fix the damage as a result. Nate should probably listen to his original gut feeling and stop judging himself now, Devin will probably say. Even so, Nate's feelings for Audra run awfully deep and may convince him there's something to salvage here. She'll also struggle with her feelings for Kane while she's with Lily. On Wednesday's Y&R episode, Lily will find herself recalling their relationship in spite of her best efforts to forget Kane. Although Lily and Kane had their ups and downs, they were once inseparable lovers. As Lily recalls her relationship with Kane, she won't be able to ignore how much she misses what they used to have in common. There will be some harrowing reminders. Meanwhile, it looks like Phyllis Summers will confront Nick about Victor Newman's blackmail. Phyllis is not pleased that Victor has leverage over Kane's head, and as a result, she may criticize Nick. In the show on Wednesday, Nick will try to make things better with Phyllis, especially since he still needs her help with forming a Kane alliance. Of course, Phyllis will have much bigger issues to worry about when it comes to Kane and his sudden desire to scrap his whole scheme. It'll be up to Phyllis to change Kane's mind and convince him that his plans for Genoa City domination are the way to go. According to The Young and the Restless spoilers, Phyllis may assist Kane in revising his perspective. Stay tuned for more information regarding the Y&R future. After flashing back to his last conversations with his father, Colin, Kane rocks Phyllis's world. He drinks and thinks about the letter Victor used to blackmail him on the Kane train. He recalls interacting with Colin while he was dying in a flashback. Y&R Colin Kane considers the words living and dying without regrets, as he picks up the letter. Glancing at the text from Charlie asking him to stop trying to contact him and Maddie, Kane sighs. Kane gets his phone set up and starts making a video. He is doing it because he cannot risk these words not being said or, more importantly, not being heard, and tomorrow is not guaranteed. Y&R can be recorded. In the recording, Kane recalls that Lily had cancer and tells Charlie and Maddie how perfect they were when they were born. Their love made her better. He understands why they don't want to talk to him right now, but he needs to justify his actions. Moving to the sofa, Kane talks about
being disgusted and disappointed by his father growing up. That was not what he wanted for Charlie and Maddie. He can't believe he let them down. To improve, he had to change everything about himself, even his name. He established arabesque in order to provide them with something substantial. He insists, claiming that he now realizes that it was self-centered and driven by his ego. I did it for you. Past year Kane, who is pacing, acknowledges that once he began to experience success, it was intoxicating, he was hooked. He wanted to test his limits and see how much he could build. He kept secrets and told them half-truths. He had no idea what would happen. He is aware that they are wondering why he did not come forward earlier. The reason for this is that the lie became his reality. He was certain that returning to Kane Ashby would end everything. Phyllis appears on video as he apologizes. Ducking out of sight, Phyllis listens as Kane ruminates about the promises parents make to their children. I wasn't there for you guys, he laments. He left Maddie after the fire and missed Charlie's graduation. Everything changed when their grandfather passed away. He was perplexed as to what any of it actually meant. What did it matter if he was hiding from his loved ones? He only cares about them and their mother. I love you, he signs off. Clearing her throat, Phyllis makes herself known. Phyllis Kane Y&R. She is accused of eavesdropping by Kane. Despite the fact that Phyllis claims to have heard very little, she urges him to send the message. They debate, and Phyllis vows to help him with this. She's sure the siblings will rip the message to shreds when they get it, but it's filled with love and humility, which will get through to them. Kane frowns, or it's too little, too late. Phyllis continues to persuade Kane, who continues to beat himself up. His kids have every reason to judge him. They continue to debate whether Kane should convey the message while Phyllis serves 2 glasses of alcohol. Kane shifts the topic. Did she conduct research on AI? Phyllis did so, entering some shadowy areas. What are we doing with this? She wonders, pointing out that you can use an axe to chop firewood or to commit a murder. Kane shrugs, claiming that he is not a killer. Phyllis feels better. She notices the letter and inquires about it. Kane says Victor made his next move and lets her read it. They discuss Colin's last con at the nice chateau. Phyllis inquires about how he knows the letter is genuine. Kane says it has Colin all over it. Arabesque could be affected if the truth came out. Phyllis inquires if he was aware of Colin's actions. Kane sighs. Colin assured him that it was legitimate and that he had funds. But his father dying took his focus. He built an empire, but now he's lost his children. It doesn't appear to be worth it. Further reading, Kane's comeback stories top 10 plot holes. Phyllis tells Kane to be patient, and his kids will come around. On a roll, she also warns him not to contact Lily, ever. Kane claims that his ex-wife believes he is his father. Is it true? Have I become the worst parts of the man? More, ironic twist sends into cheating scandal. Now behind the bar, Phyllis pours them another drink and advises Kane to shelve his regrets. He needs to make his brilliant plan known to the world. Kane suggests it was all pretty shallow, along the lines of something Colin would have done. They continue to debate. Phyllis warns that sneak attacks happen every day, they have to be ready. Kane marvels, you really want that job, don't you? According to Phyllis, we're business soulmates. Kane wants her to go, but he says they should have dinner there later. Phyllis warns him not to spiral. Phyllis Kane YNR. Alone, Kane pulls out his phone and sends the video recording he made to Charlie and Maddie. He flashes to reading Colin the news as he lay in his sick bed. At that point, his father stopped even listening to the rugby scores. Kane asks him to stay for long enough to watch as the bank account adds a few more zeros. Colin claims to be worn out. He tells Kane to find his family again. More, Tamara Braun, a daytime veteran, joins YNR as Kane is also asked by Colin not to tell Jill how much he loves her because doing so will make things even more difficult when he leaves. He needles his son about whether he'll wait 50 years to make things up to Lily. Kane warns it has to be done the right way. Colin asserts that Dumas was helpful, but he is now at odds with him and his family. Kane holds his father's hand and says that when the time is right, he will bury Dumas forever. Colin YNR. More, what YNR is keeping fans in the dark in the present. Kane throws his glass and smashes it against the wall. Later, he picks up his phone again and calls Phyllis. He informs her that he has reconsidered. The plan is dead. I'm not moving forward. That causes him to disconnect. Lily cries over Kane's video, Audra and Nate's tense encounter. The Young and the Restless recap for Wednesday, August 27th, reveals that Lily Winters will cry over Kane Ashby's video while Audra Charles and Nate Hastings have a tense encounter. At Crimson Lights, Audra will complain to Sally Spectra about Nate believing everything Claire Newman said. Although Audra was indeed keeping secrets about the breakup plot for Victor Newman, she'll still be hurt over Nate's reaction. Audra will tell Sally about walking away and how it felt final, but she'll eventually offer a hint of hope about Nate seeing what they mean to each other. Once talk turns to the launch party, Audra will fret over the Abbotts being a problem now that she's joined Abbott Communications. Sally will vow to run interference, but Audra will still have plenty of concerns. At Society, Nate will give Lily and Devin Winters updates on his split from Audra. Although Nate will acknowledge the possibility that Audra was telling the truth about the whole situation with Kyle Abbott, Lily and Devin won't buy it. In the end, Nate will admit Claire's version of events seems more likely. Nate will guess that Devin and Lily were right about Audra all along, but they won't want him blaming himself for giving his heart to the wrong person. At one point on Wednesday's YNR episode, Audra will come in and pick up some takeout, so she'll lock eyes with Nate briefly before leaving in a hurry. Outside, Audra will pause for a moment and seem distraught over what she's lost. Meanwhile, Lily will take a phone call from Kane Ashby, who'll ask if she's watched his video or heard from the twins. The answer will be no to both questions, but Lily will vow to let Kane know if the twins get in touch. Afterward, Lily will head to the park and watch Kane's video message alone, so it'll leave her crying and looking pensive. Kane will drop by Billy Abbott's place and confess that his plans for a takeover are not moving forward. Billy will be skeptical, but Kane will insist Chancellor is fair game for Billy to pursue. When Billy wonders about the reason for Kane's change of heart, Kane will suggest it's because of his children and how much damage he's done. Kane will also confess that he wanted Chancellor for Lily, but he'll now realize you can't give someone what they don't want. Billy will be questioned as soon as Kane departs because Sally will return home and become suspicious of his presence. Billy will give Sally the news about Kane doing a 180 on all his grand plans in Genoa City. It'll leave Billy considering the possibility that Kane wants to put the spotlight on him as a threat to the Newmans. That could distract the Newman family while Kane executes his true intentions. Sally will mention that Abbott Communications will have their first major story if they can uncover the truth about Kane. Billy will consider the idea that Kane wants to knock him off his balance and wonder why. In the park, Nick Newman will listen in on Phyllis Summers' frustrated voicemail for Kane. Phyllis will argue that Kane can't just drop a bomb like that and hang up. Nick will question Phyllis and make the assumption that Kane has already signaled that he has changed his plans. Nick will repeatedly try to assist Phyllis, but she will insist she can save things. Nick will keep trying to warn Phyllis that she could alienate everyone and end up with nothing, but she'll push Nick to back off. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Phyllis could get in over her head if she's not careful, so don't miss all the drama that's looming. Kane is warned by Phyllis to man up and march. YNR spoilers for August 27th. The Young and the Restless spoilers for August 27th promise one of those episodes that doesn't just move the story forward, it ignites it with combustible emotions, buried secrets, and shifting alliances. Genoa City will never be the same once these truths unfold. The drama centers on Kane Ashby's internal torment, Phyllis Summers' fiery warnings, Lily Winter's aching inability to let go of her past, and Nate Hastings' crumbling certainty about his relationship with Audra Charles. At the heart of it all, Victor Newman's shadow lingers like a storm cloud, manipulating, pushing, and blackmailing from behind the scenes, with Nick Newman caught in the middle of the fallout. This is not just an episode, it is a reckoning. Let's dive deep into everything, because the threads of this story intertwine, twist, and pull the characters into places they may not recover from. Phyllis lays down the law with Kane. From the opening moments, Kane is seen spiraling. The pressure of Victor's blackmail has eaten at him for weeks, and the letter from Colin, a dying man's words to his son, haunts him like a curse. Kane pours himself another drink in his apartment, brooding over his fractured family, the estrangement of Charlie and Maddie, and the lingering ghost of his love for Lily. His phone buzzes with a message from Charlie, a curt request to stop reaching out. Kane's face hardens, but inside, the sting is unbearable. Before Kane can sink further into despair, Phyllis Summers storms in. Her energy fills the room like a hurricane. She doesn't mince words. Man up, Kane, she snaps. You've got one shot to march forward and take control, or you're going to drown in your own self-pity. Victor owns you right now, and if you let him, he'll bury you alive. Phyllis is relentless, cutting Kane down for wallowing, then lifting him with a harsh pep talk. She reminds him of every time he's clawed his way back from the edge, every time he's fought for his family, for his reputation, for his place in Genoa City. You think Lily is going to respect a man who hides behind a bottle? You think your kids will forgive you if the last thing they remember is you giving up? Get it together. This is Phyllis at her fiercest, half mentor, half instigator. She pushes Kane to embrace a ruthless streak and stop second-guessing. She believes in his potential, but she also has her own agenda. Kane is a critical piece in the chess match against Victor Newman, and she won't let him fold now. Lily's memories refuse to fade. Meanwhile, Lily Winters tries to keep her life steady, but the past refuses to let her go. She's supposed to be focusing on her own projects and moving forward, yet Kane lingers in her mind. At Crimson Lights, she finds herself staring into her coffee, remembering the good times she once shared with Kane, the laughter, the love, the family they built together despite every betrayal and every mistake. The memories are bittersweet. Lily has worked hard to free herself from the pain, but deep down, she admits she misses what they once had. She misses the warmth of waking up next to him, the feeling of being protected, the way Kane once looked at her like she was the only person in the world. Even as she tries to resist, the reminders are everywhere. A couple holding hands. A father playing with his children. Even the smell of cologne on a stranger as he passes by. Lily knows Kane was flawed, but their bond was undeniable. And now, as much as she wants to move on, her heart betrays her. Nick and Phyllis clash over Victor's leverage. Elsewhere, Nick Newman finds himself in the line of fire as well. He's torn between his loyalty to his father and his moral compass. Victor's blackmail of Kane is a weapon Nick can barely stomach. When Phyllis confronts him, her fury is volcanic. "You're letting your father destroy Kane's life for sport," Phyllis accuses. Nick argues that Victor always has his reasons, but Phyllis won't let him hide behind excuses. She points out that Victor is manipulating everyone like pawns, including Kane, including Nick, and even herself. Nick insists that he still needs Phyllis's help, especially if they're going to keep Kane in play against Newman's enemies. But Phyllis isn't in the mood to cooperate blindly. She has bigger concerns. Kane is unraveling, and if Nick doesn't realize how dangerous Victor's leverage is, the whole house of cards will collapse. Nate Hastings doubts with Audra. While Kane and Lily wrestle with their shared history, Nate Hastings faces his own crisis of the heart. Audra Charles has dumped him, but not with the clean honesty Nate craves. There are whispers about what happened with Kyle Abbott, and Nate doesn't know what to believe. In quiet moments, Nate replays everything in his mind, the passion, the betrayal, the sharp ending that left him breathless. When he sits down with Devin Winters, he admits he may have made a mistake in how he handled things. Maybe Audra was telling the truth. Maybe he judged her too harshly. Maybe, just maybe, he wants her back. Devin, ever the realist, warns him not to get pulled back into a toxic cycle. If your gut told you something was off, listen to it, Devin advises. But Nate can't silence the feelings that remain. Audra had a hold on him, one that isn't so easy to break. Whether this is love, lust, or obsession, Nate doesn't know. But the temptation to make amends and rebuild is stronger than ever. Kane's emotional confession. Later that night, Kane reaches his breaking point. Alone in his apartment, he sets up his phone and begins recording a video message. His voice shakes at first, but then steadies with raw emotion. He addresses his children, Charlie and Maddie. He talks about the day they were born, the overwhelming love that filled his heart. He recalls Lily's cancer battle, how their love gave her strength, and how their family fought through storms together. He admits his mistakes, his failures, his regrets, but insists that everything he's done was to try to protect them, to keep them safe, to give them a better life. Kane acknowledges their anger and their distance. "I get why you don't want to hear from me. But I can't let my story end without telling you the truth." His eyes glisten as he picks up Colin's letter, the words "living and dying without regrets" echoing in his mind. It's a gut-wrenching moment, Kane baring his soul not for forgiveness, but for understanding. He knows tomorrow isn't promised, and he doesn't want his children to only remember his flaws. Phyllis's gamble. The next morning, Phyllis watches the recording Kane made. She's shaken by the honesty, the vulnerability. For a moment, she sees not just a broken man, but a man who could rise again if given purpose. And Phyllis intends to give him that purpose. She tells Kane that his pain can either destroy him or fuel him. If he wants redemption, if he wants to prove to his children and to Lily that he's more than his mistakes, then he has to fight. He has to march. He has to take control of the narrative before Victor uses it to crush him completely. Kane listens, torn between despair and determination. But when Phyllis says, "This isn't about Victor anymore, it's about you deciding who you are," something clicks.